Like a peacock, a peacock might be graceful. I don't know, but like I don't feel like it's like you're gonna notice it and think it's weird that there's a peacock here.
Just like following me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody? It is the STUMIN podcast.
The what?
Good to be back. The STUMIN, as opposed to when Riley joins us. Hey, did you know that last week we successfully had a podcast without talking about poop? What? Oh, no.
We just talked about poop.
Sorry. I feel like we need like a sign up here that says
Days.
episodes without... And we would have had a 1, and you would have had to erase it. But
It is now 0.
Dang it.
Yeah, we talked about while we were editing, or while editing it. It was like, well, we didn't talk about poop for once. Let's see how long we can keep this.
He's like editing the episode, and it just dawns on us. We're like, holy cow.
We've talked about
We talked for 40 minutes and we didn't
0
bring
times.
up poop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Do you think it'd be weird if like ever one of us wasn't wearing a hat when we started recording the podcast?
No.
I feel like that would trip people out.
Oh, we both got like the hat hoodie thing going on.
Yeah, I didn't have a hoodie on, but it's cold in here for a change.
I could have worn my maroon hat, and then we would have been like, color matched. But we didn't plan for it.
It's true.
Speaking of poop,
we do have a question.
it's poop related.
It has absolutely nothing to do with poop. It is one of my favorite questions we've ever gotten. And the writer put their name down. Does that mean they want recognition? Or do you think they wrote it down
As part of the question.
Somebody wrote it down and put someone else's name on it
also,
to get them in trouble with the government.
Also, we said that it's supposed to be like, questions. Like you're not putting statements, you're putting questions.
Yes.
So is the name part of the question?
Oh.
Like it's name question mark.
Yeah.
As part of the, like you got the question and then is the name a follow-up question?
Oh.
Or is it part of
Maybe.
the original question?
Yeah. I'm going to go with someone is framing this person to get them in trouble with the government. And when you hear the question, you'll know why.
Yeah.
Here it is. Where can I get real peacocks that are not government spy drones?
I see.
In my first few years here at Hayes Hills, there was a peacock that would just randomly show up in the parking lot and run around. Like a full-grown peacock. You'd like drive in the back parking lot and be like, "Oh, look there! I saw the peacock today."
There's Jeff.
And then like a dude who lives in the neighborhood behind the church started posting on like their neighborhood Facebook page. He's like, "Has anybody seen my peacock?"
Has anybody seen Kevin?
Now I'm just learning today that peacock was spying on the church for the government. I didn't know that was a thing.
This has got to be like, is this what happens in like China? They just have government bird drones spying on the church.
There is absolutely the conspiracy theory that birds are not real, that they are spies. I have heard that
it for a long time.
But when I hear that, I definitely like my mind never went to like, oh, a peacock's a bird. That's a weird.
I never think about them as birds.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
They're just like big, colorful ostriches.
But ostriches are also birds.
But like ostriches can't fly. Like
yeah,
they'd be pretty lame as
can
government.
Peacocks fly?
I mean, have you ever seen a peacock fly?
Response.
Have you ever seen a peacock fly?
That just wrecked you that you didn't know. You're just like, man, my education.
I need to catch up on my peacock
today.
Knowledge.
You know what's interesting about this question is that the person who wrote it, whether it's the name on the card or not,
they can fly.
They can?
Yeah.
Could you imagine looking up in the sky and there's a peacock above?
Short distances. They can fly up to 49 feet in the air.
Of a peacock. 49 feet is high, dude.
And it's
That's
very
for
random
a bird,
number.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 meters, that's what it is. So it makes more sense. But 49 feet is very random.
Europeans, man. Get on board.
Listen, we've won too many wars to still be using meters.
You'd all be German without us. that 49 does feel.
When I Googled
without the context of 15 meters, 49 is so crazy. It's just like Jeff keeps making it to 49, but he can't hit that 50 mark. We can't write 50 down, guys. He's never made it.
When I Googled it, it also came up what to do if a peacock bites you.
Oh, I've like been bitten by a peacock.
Is it?
I have at the zoo when I was a kid. What did you do? I
Are
was
they
a
like
kid.
venomous? Like, why do you have to ask this question? Do you become one?
I am now a superhero known as Peacock Man.
Oh man!
I hide my secret identity. It was a radioactive peacock.
Why is that not a superhero? Like wearing the frills and stuff.
This is getting so unhinged so quickly.
It's gonna be a long episode.
The person who wrote this assumed that you and I, based on who we are and what we do for a living, have the knowledge of where you buy real peacocks. And like we would tell you on a podcast and go against the government, like this,
especially the ones that aren't government spied. But like, I love that it presupposes, first of all, that peacocks are government spy drones because they can only fly. I mean, 50 feet, 49 feet. Sorry, it's good, but it says only for short distances.
Jeff doesn't deserve that extra foot. He's never made it. If you're gonna round, you got to round down, my friend.
Does he go in the Guinness Book of World Records if he makes it there? First peacock to hit 50 feet. But think about it, because like the reason why we don't think of ostriches as government drones is like ostriches would be. I mean, they run really fast, but like, and they can run far, but like, you know, flying is a lot more helpful.
Sounds like you know at least 2 more things about peacocks than I do.
But like,
it would be a weird tool as a drone. Like they're way more effective animals.
And it's just so large, you know, and noticeable and colorful.
And
you're like walking around, there's like a peacock circling above you.
Like a peacock might be graceful. I don't know, but like I don't feel like it's like you're gonna notice it and think it's weird that there's a peacock here.
It's like following me. We're like, you know, a lot, like if it's like circling above you, like that's gonna catch your attention.
Definitely.
Where like there's so many other birds that would be more functional spies.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to peacocks and the acquisition of them,
you got a guy.
I got a guy. I mean, listen, I figured out how to acquire a camel if I wanted to. We were in Morocco and I was like, how do I buy a camel? And I asked ChatGPT and it was like, oh, here's like 3 different places where you can buy camels for very affordable prices, by the way.
Like, give me a ballpark for a camel.
It's like $1,000. Like, that's a good deal.
Yeah, because I mean, it's basically
a dog.
It's basically a car.
But it's like a car for the price of a dog, you know? And peacocks are so much more cost effective than camels.
You're hard pressed to find a dog that's $1,000 today.
Yeah,
like camels are cheaper than dogs.
And it's just like a car that can go across the Sahara Desert. No dog can do that. You know. So
I mean, no air conditioning is a problem for me.
If you want a peacock, it's a pretty low investment, like at least initial upfront cost.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it? I already know based on your response, you think it's cheaper than you thought. And you thought $1,000 for a camel was good. So I have to ask myself the question, do you think peacocks should be worth more or less than camels? Because you went into that research knowing what a camel costs.
Yeah, I already knew that.
I think you would assume a peacock is a less useful animal than a camel. So,
I mean, they're not. They wouldn't work as good as for government drones.
$500.
It's cheaper.
No way.
Yeah.
$100.
That's in the price range. Yeah. It's a price range
for a peacock.
So on the cheap side, which I don't know, this is a mixed potluck pea chick. I don't know what that means.
But what?
Is this a peacock that you raise for a potluck?
Did you know that peacock are in a category known as peafowl? I learned that today.
It sounds like a penalty in football.
For doing what? Can I ask?
We'll let the imagination roam on that one. But on the cheaper side, $65.
That's wild.
In Texas.
I feel like we need to prove this. Like, I got $65 to burn, dude.
Their website is on here. Now, if you want like the like legit kind of like the top class, top shelf
like
peacocks.
a purebred.
Yeah. Like a purebred. If you want a purebred, top shelf, we're talking like $250 to $300.
Dang, dude, that is so cheap.
Plus shipping though. So if you pick it up yourself,
what is the point of owning peacocks? Like even for a farmer, well,
hold on. So you can.
What do they do? Like I know what a chicken does. It tastes good. It lays eggs. I
don't know what peacocks do to the economy. But here, like,
come on, peacocks, do something.
They're so
get your life together.
Accessible. You can't. Here's a farm in Fredericksburg. It's just called Texas Peacock Farm.
That's drivable. Let's do this.
You got Bow's Peafowl Farm in Waco.
It's Waco. That just seals the deal. It's a cult. That is not a real place.
Strutting Peacock Ranch in Waller, Texas.
Why are there so many places to go buy peacocks?
There's
like, what purpose do they serve? We're gonna find out. I'm gonna ask my best friend.
So here's the thing though. So I also looked up like what are some of the challenges of peacock ownership, you know?
Yeah, that's it's a fair question before you make the investment, even if it's a low investment.
So they love to roam and explore, so you need a lot of land. It says they fly well. They can reach trees and rooftops even when you clip their wings.
As long as the building is under 49.1 feet.
You also got to watch out for your HOA. But here's the other thing. Their calls are really loud. Males especially can exceed 100 decibels.
Dang.
That's
impressive.
And it sounds like a cross between a scream and a car alarm.
All I have is the screaming goat in my head at this point.
Can you imagine?
So according to Chat,
noise is the number one reason people rehome peacocks. Even neighbors several houses away.
Hey, why does it sound like someone's screaming constantly?
Like every morning.
That's just Jeff in the backyard. Okay. Here's what ChatGPT says peacocks are helpful with. They eat things like snakes.
Wow.
Peacock eats snakes,
if you're afraid
scorpions,
of snakes.
Mice, lizards, insects.
Wait, how does a peacock catch a lizard? Lizards are fast.
So are snakes, dude. For a peacock,
yeah, but like lizards are like
like
shouldn't be as fast as they are. It's kind of weird.
They scurry.
And imagine like a giant bird, you know, like giant, and they're like peacocks are not dynamic.
Yeah, no. They're quite plump.
Hence the 49-foot ceiling.
You know what's funny though is every time I'm thinking of a peacock, I'm thinking of an ostrich with pretty feathers. Like peacocks are not as big as I'm thinking in my head. Yeah. I'm thinking of an ostrich constantly, and we're talking about peacocks. This is how stupid I am. Second helpful reason to own a peacock is a natural alarm system. They have a loud, distinctive call.
Yeah, they do.
That can alert you. What? Beauty and tourism, feather collection.
Okay.
And occasionally for meat, people eat peacocks.
Hey, you want to come over? Eggs. I'm grilling peacocks tonight.
I got peacock on the smoker. You want to come on over?
I don't even know how to react.
But you'd have to try it. You'd be like, when else am I going to eat peacock? Like this is.
I mean, it's only like $60, and it's probably a lot of meat.
It's cheaper than a brisket.
Why is that the most Texan thing though to say? Like, we're gonna figure out how to smoke a peacock. That's why. Probably tastes like chicken.
That's I feel like that's offensive to aviary animals.
They all taste like chicken. What if chicken tastes like peacock?
That's discrimination.
Can you imagine if you like?
We thought chicken tastes like chicken all along, but no, chicken.
What if you go to someone's house and just like eat chicken there?
You're like,
man, this tastes like peacock.
They would just be.
It's been 15 minutes. I'll say one more challenge of peacock ownership. They poop a lot. And here's the thing. This is what came up.
Hey, when you have kids, same challenge.
But no, this is a little bit different though. This is what they came up with. They like to perch on decks, cars, and porch rails and leave droppings where they land. So you're just like wake up in the morning, you're like, what's this thing that's pooping on my car?
Getting clunked with a peacock poo from 49 feet in the air. That would, like, if it pooped on your car, it's breaking your windshield. Okay, I put the exact question in ChatGPT, which is, where can I get real peacocks that are not government spy drones? Okay. This is what ChatGPT said. I'm gonna read it to you.
Wait. Before that, this is just more like one last thing on some of the challenges. For the cost, so feeding is roughly $15 to $25 per month.
Okay, bird. I thought you were gonna say per day, and I was about like
15 to 25 per month.
That's reasonable.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
that's not just reasonable. That's cheap. I'm pretty sure Melchizedek costs.
Well, your dog is like the size of 4 dogs, though. Yeah. Like my dog doesn't cost me near that much. And
then vet bills. Fun fact: more expensive than chicken vet bills.
I feel like that's discrimination. I just feel like
vets got to get their stuff together. You know.
Essentially, it's like the doctor charging me more than you because you're Jewish and I'm not.
Can we say this? I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's kind of the same.
It's the same thing. It's discrimination. Okay, I put the question verbatim in ChatGPT. Here's the advice. If you want real peacocks, the kind that actually strut, squawk, and poop everywhere, instead of recharging in secret at the nearest 5G tower.
I mean, they can reach it.
Here's what you'll need to avoid.
Okay.
Anything with a USB-C port under the tail.
I usually check my animals for that.
Yeah, check under the tail.
If you find a USB-C port under your dog's tail, there's probably a problem.
It's a problem. Avoid birds that update their firmware at midnight.
Well, isn't that what they do whenever they all perch on like the cell tower or the power lines? Power lines,
absolutely. Yeah. Also, avoid ones that respond to "Hey Alexa."
Hey Alexa.
Okay, here you go. Your best bet: head to a legit farm, not a Department of Ornithological Surveillance Distribution Center. Ask the farmer, "Are these Wi-Fi enabled?"
Can you imagine?
If they look confused instead of nervous, that's how you know it's a real bird. Man. And then if you're curious, ChatGPT will also draw you up a checklist for spotting the difference between genuine peacocks and government-issued surveillance fowl.
All right.
There you have it. I hope this has been educational for you.
If you're peacock shopping, just remember, no USB-C ports.
Just remember, like if you're trying to go under $65, you're probably ripping off the farmer. But if they're asking for over $250, you're getting a bad deal.
Yeah. Well, apparently, if you want like a rare species of peacock,
yeah, it makes
they
sense.
can get up to like 1,000.
Oh man,
but that's cheaper than
bougie.
Most dogs.
Like,
and yeah, you don't need $1,000 peacock in your life.
At the end of the day,
$250.
You're gonna have a peacock, so just calm down. You don't need like the bougie fancy peacock.
$250 is gonna be like, $250. That's a good deal.
$250, good deal. Why say many word when few
word do trick?
All right, we got to move on. I don't know how we transition off of this, but today we are going to dive into Bible translation. We had a question come in.
Are we doing Bible translation here now?
Oh, are we not?
Oh, I'm good for it. I'm good to go. I thought we were doing the other one.
Which one? We're so organized. Which one did you think we were doing?
I thought we were doing the one God created.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good either way. I feel like the Bible translation is going to be longer than we already spent 15 minutes.
That's fair. Okay, cool. So
I can. Why don't we cut it right here?
You can edit that out. We came in with a totally different idea.
I thought we were going to talk about that later because I was like, that's going to be a long one, and this peacock one's like, taking up a lot of time.
It was just the one we were talking about when we came in here. So all right. So let me find that question.
Was God? Didn't God create?
If God created everything, did He create Himself? Okay. All right, enough Peacock talk. I don't know how we transition from this point.
We don't.
But we do have a serious question to get to. It is this. If God created everything, did he create himself? Which I think is a fair question. Every believer is going to struggle with this at some point. Not even the reality of like, did God create himself, but was he created at all? How is it possible like that we say he's always been there and our minds can't comprehend that or answer that? And so that's a stumbling block for sure. So someone comes to you, Danny, and they say, hey, you tell me God created everything. Well, where did God come from? Did he create himself? How is God here?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes from like a flawed understanding of what we mean when we talk about God and who God is, right? Because when we talk about everything else in all of creation, even just the name creation, right, implies that it is created. And part of the argument that kind of gets us to this place is we say that there's a philosophical kind of argument that's used for God and for Christianity, that like everything that exists has a cause for its existence, a reason for existence. Everything that...
And our understanding is limited to that because we live in a physical reality, right, where everything we interact with, everything about us and this world has been
a
created.
Cause.
Yeah.
And like, if people deny that, like, we don't live in the world as if that's not true. Yeah. Like, you never go driving on the freeway wondering if there's an elephant that's just going to pop up in front of you. You know, that'd be a pretty big concern.
I have that fear often, actually. So.
What's that called?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for it.
But if you trace all of those things, like everything has a cause, and that cause has a cause, and that cause has a cause, eventually, just philosophically, you have to get back to an uncaused cause, right? Like something that is the reason for everything else that exists on its own by the necessity of its own nature. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about God.
And so the world tries to explain that in a lot of ways. Like this is where the Big Bang Theory comes in, evolution. So a lot of scientific theories exist in the same way, where science tries to prove all of the physical, why the physical works the way that it does. And so we get things like the laws of physics and a lot of helpful things about how the world works. Yeah. But it always comes back to the question scientists have been trying to answer since the beginning of science. Well, where did everything come from? Yeah. And how does all this exist? And you really end up in the same place in both arguments.
And I think like this question gets to part of the strength, like in the philosophy world, when it comes to believing in God, because you look at science and everything that they try to come up with to figure out what was the beginning of all of it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And the awesome part of that is, even as we're talking about like the Big Bang, back in the like 1900s, atheists believed that the universe actually always existed. Like Einstein believed for a while that the universe was eternal and always existed in the same way. And so therefore we don't need an explanation for a beginning. But then when all of the stuff of the Big Bang and stuff like that started to come around, there was one scientist that said that atheists kind of backed themselves into a corner because they have figured out that the universe had a beginning, but they have no clue how that happened. And then you have all these other ideas over the past, 30, 40 years or so, where they've been trying to work around that, and you get like the multiverse and all these other things that people are talking about, but they still never actually answer the question. And it's to the point that like Stephen Hawking said that because gravity exists, the universe can and will create itself from nothing, which makes zero sense, because he basically said because something exists, nothing will create itself, or something will create itself from nothing. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It makes no sense at all.
But when we talk about God, we're talking about a being that is eternal, that has always existed, and he is the one that set everything else in motion.
Yeah. Yeah, so the what it boils down to is, while we cannot in a concrete way answer the question, where did God come from? What we're left with then is wrestling through arguments for God the creator, for science, for some unexplained explanation of how things exist and how they are that we haven't thought of yet. And at the end of the day, and whatever you believe about any of it takes a level of faith because you can't explain it. Like someone who would believe in the Big Bang Theory would be like, well, science says this, and like science disproves itself over and over again in that theory. Mm-hmm. The Big Bang requires nothing to explode, not possible. And then the idea of like explosion or things colliding together and transforming, we don't see in like our physical world that exist in any form. Even the idea that like over time things get better, like the world is in a constant state of deterioration.
Yeah.
And so any system of belief that takes you back to how you answer, how do we exist? How does the universe exist? Whatever created that, how did it exist? You come back to, at some point, the argument you're making has to have validity because it proves itself. We call that a circular argument.
Yeah.
Science says Big Bang or evolution, and you say, well, how do you know that's true? And you say, well, we've proved it scientifically. And so the argument's like, well, so science proves science? Doesn't that feel like a flawed belief? Or God created everything and God's always existed. How do you know that? Well, God told us. Well, isn't that a circular argument? It's impossible to get outside of the circular argument on this, that we don't have a way to, in like a scientific lab, prove any of these theories. And so there's just a level of faith required in it. And I know that's hard because it almost feels like a cop-out, right? Like if you were explaining that to me, Danny, and I said, well, that just feels like a cop-out because you can't explain it. And so how would you like apologetically defend the Christian God in that?
Yeah, I think a couple things. First of all, when we talk about discovering like the beginning of the universe and everything with that, the universe is made out of primarily made of two things, right? Matter and time. Like those are the two things we're talking about. And so that means whatever caused matter and time to exist has to be timeless and immaterial. Like it's not made of stuff, because if you're going to create stuff, you have to be not made of stuff, and it has to be outside of time or timeless. And so for us, we can't use scientific like observation to figure that out. And that's where the faith aspect comes in, because even in Hebrews 11, he says, by faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen is not made out of things that are visible, which is exactly where we're getting at. But when we look at what had to set everything in motion, it has to be timeless, immaterial. It also has to have what we call agency, which is the ability to make a decision, because otherwise you just have nothing, and then all of a sudden something happens. Like there has to be a decision, something that happens to cause all of that to spark into existence. So it has to have agency and then power, because it takes, an unimaginable amount of power to be able to create everything out of nothing. And so we talk about something that's timeless, immaterial, personal has the ability to make a decision, because a soccer ball that's just sitting on its own is not going to suddenly start rolling down a hill. And then also has to be extremely powerful. That sounds a lot like what we talk about when we talk about God. And to bring it to the Bible, obviously we see in the Bible that God creates, but even the answer for the question of did God create himself, or like what created God, comes from even the meaning behind the name Yahweh, whenever God gives his own name to the Israelites, because that word, God introduces himself to Moses as I am that I am, which Yahweh, or what we see in the Old Testament as the capital Lord, it means he is that he is. So I am that I am is what God says. God says, I exist out of the necessity of my own nature. I exist by my own nature. Nothing else causes me. Nothing else controls me. But God says, I am supreme. I'm over everything. I'm the reason for everything, and I'm behind everything. And that, like, in the very core piece of God's character is that he is who he is outside of anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he echoes that to Moses, right, in the bush. I am who I am. He wants us to know that. And like the root question for today of God, did God create himself? Kind of summarizing what you just said, for God to create himself would mean he has to exist before he creates himself. And so that the answer plainly is no, God did not create himself, but God has always been. Everything that science tries to prove about the world and creation makes far more logical sense that there's a creator than that chaos has ordained the world to work the way that it does.
Yeah.
If you think when you're in like biology class and you're learning about how your body works and the systems that have to work together for decades for you to live a full life. For that to just accidentally take place is crazy. NASA can tell us exactly when the sun will set and when it will rise. They can track the moon and tell us what moon phase it's going to be in, when we're going to have a solar eclipse. I mean, all of these things working in this like perfect system. It takes faith, and like it's hard to leave someone who's dealing with doubt there, where it's just like, well, you just got to have faith. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, faith is the tool God has given us to believe in Him and be restored to Him.
Well, and everyone needs faith for anything.
Absolutely.
Because I would tell the atheist, how can you trust that like your perception of reality is real? How can you trust that the things that you hear, the things that you see are actually real and not fake? How can you trust, even when we talk about those ordered systems, how do we know that the sun is still going to rise tomorrow? Yeah. And that the moon is still going to go around the same way that it does every month? Like, how do we know that?
And none of us have any doubt about it.
The only way we know is because it's always done that. But like, how do we know that doesn't mean it's going to change tomorrow? How do we know that gravity isn't just going to work a different way tomorrow? Yeah. Like at the fundamental level, like when we get down to the very, very bottom kind of assumptions that we have behind everything, it takes faith. Right? Like it takes faith to
absolutely. Yeah.
So there's even kind of a joke that's been made around a lot that is like, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, along the lines of what you're saying. Like, I don't have enough faith to believe in atheism, because to believe that ordered, structured system that we have in this universe could just happen on accident is like believing that a tornado can go through a trailer park and make a fully functioning 737, which is a airliner jet.
It makes absolutely no sense. And we don't live in a world where there's like examples of this. We live in a world where literally everything is a sample of this. Like, if you think about the millions of species and all of the animals who, evolution tries to explain it, where it's just like, oh, well, the amoeba and you've ended up with all of these different species that have learned how to survive and adapted. That takes a lot of faith to believe that, especially when you don't see evidence of that in the world as you look at it.
And when you see, like, when we talk about something like evolution, even there's a problem with that. Like, I know this isn't about evolution, but there's a problem that like we're not even close to having an idea of figuring out scientifically. And that's like, where did life come from to begin with? Yep. Because you look at even just a single cell. Yeah. Because we have the assumption that like a cell is just like, this little thing, and then eventually it becomes two cells and whatever. But even the single cell, like you're going to learn, if you learn in your biology class, or you will learn, is like, it's more complicated than my car, And to think that like my car, all the engine pieces and everything suddenly comes together and works the way it does, like, no, we would look at a car and say that's obviously intentionally designed with a purpose where everything works the way it should. Yep. And it's the same thing with just a simple cell.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, when you extrapolate one cell over the idea that you're made up of millions of cells, but your body
even
works
more like
together perfectly.
Literally like trillions.
Billions, trillions. Yeah. It just leaves you in a place where if you think about it objectively from all sides, because what the world wants to do is they want to go, look, you have this flawed idea of God, but you can't even tell me where God came from or give me a valid answer to that. No. And so this disproves Christianity. Yeah. This disproves the belief in theism at all. And people will treat that as like this trump card. But if you look objectively at all sides, every system of belief, and people don't want to say science is like a system of belief, but it is. It's similar to a religion in a lot of ways, and that person who puts their faith and trust in the scientifically explained has just as much, probably larger level of faith in the things that they believe, because first of all, because it's been explained only by humans. And if you look at the track record of science, we explain things and then disprove them all the time in science. And so you're just left in a spot where if I'm struggling through that, and that's a doubt that I'm working with, and I've been through it, every believer is going to struggle with that because it feels like a roadblock. When I get to that, and I don't know about you, Danny, but like I try to think objectively, not just about all sides of the argument, but about the Bible and what it teaches and the things that I do know to be true about God, the things in my life, the stories that are proven through the manuscripts of Scripture, and the faithfulness of God in my life, in your life, in the other believers. And God is just so faithful to prove himself to me in so many ways that it just leaves me in a spot where I'm not really bothered that I can't explain the answer to this question well. Yeah. Because it's so obvious to me that God is real. And so having faith in God exists and I can't explain how or why, I can leave that one there and just kind of go, well, I can dump so much faith into God and all the things he's done for me in so many other ways that I'm okay just going like, yeah, I trust you, God, on this one.
Yeah, and with all of those things, like I think one of the things that really sets Christianity apart from even other religions when it comes to those questions is we have a real historical event that's the foundation of everything that we do. Like Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, like this is what I deliver as of first importance, that Jesus Christ died for our sins and rose again on the third day and all those things and met with all these people and all these events happened. We're worshiping a God who came into history and lived as a real person in history, did real things, died a real death and a real resurrection. Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like even as I have conversations with people, there's 4 philosophical arguments that come to off the top of my head that we could talk about on like creation and existence and God and all of those things. Which like I would love to have it's probably too dense of philosophy and like science and everything else to get into right now. But all those things are awesome. We can talk about a lot of those things and they're great. But I think even as we're having conversations with non-believers and with atheists and stuff like that, we have to get to the fact that there is a real historical person in Jesus who did real things for us, for our sins and all those things. And so like, that's what's awesome. We worship God because of good news, because a real event took place that transformed all of human history up until now, and transforms all of redemptive history forever.
And the good news for you and I is that the Bible clearly shows we are not required to have a certain level of understanding or faith about God's origins to be saved. And so you can struggle with that. You can have doubts about that. You can work through the difficulties of that for the rest of your life, and you probably will at times. But it's not a salvation issue, and that's good news. If we had to be able to explain God in full to be saved, we would be in trouble. Yeah. Well, we've been through that in several conversations we've had in this room. Yeah. But the beauty is God's given us everything we need to know about him to find our way to him as he calls us to him. The gospel is legit and real and fully known, and that is how we're saved, and that's where our hope is.
And so at the foundation of like the question, what created God, or did God create himself, or any of that? Like, we know that God is self-sufficient, like he exists by his own nature. Yeah. That's what the Bible says. Like, before me there was no God, nor is there any after me. He laid the foundations of the heavens and the earth in the beginning, right? The first thing that we see in the beginning is God. It's not like in the beginning, and then God showed up. Like, that's what Christianity has taught forever, since the beginning. And even we see those things with Jesus. And I think that's an element where, like I have a lot of conversations with like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, and they even believe that Jesus was created, which is kind of not new. People have believed that since like the early beginnings of Christianity. But we know, like, even if you read Colossians 1, he is before all things, in him, talking about Jesus, in him, Jesus is before all things, in him all things hold together. And he, in Hebrews 1, he upholds the universe by the word of his power. And so we see God is totally before, outside of all things. He is above all things. He's completely separate, and he has complete and total power over all of it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that helped you more than confused you. I know it's a difficult conversation. I feel like we've had a few recently where there's not perfect answers, and that's where faith comes in. And if you're struggling with faith in general, I think there's different conversations that we should have than ones like this. And so come find us, reach out, and we can talk deeper about that.
And if I can close with this real quick too, with faith, like the beauty of faith is that it doesn't have to be blind. But like C.S. Lewis says, I believe in the sun, I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else.
Yeah. So good. So our desire and hope for you is to have a better understanding about hard questions like this.
Yeah.
But most of all, that you would be a follower of Jesus because of the gospel and the hope that he's given us in it. And so first and foremost, that should be our concern. And so if you have gospel questions, come find us. We'd love to work through those. If your doubts or struggles about questions like this make you doubt things like the gospel, let's talk about those things, because I think that you can find your way to a really healthy place where you can see the hope and the clear trust we can put in the gospel without being able to answer these types of questions perfectly. And I think it's important that you know that. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's episode. That Peacock conversation was weird, so I apologize.
Only if you're not in the Peacock.
I guess so. Everybody knows how to get one and how much money they need now. All right, we will catch y'all next time. Keep shooting us those questions, and y'all stay close to Jesus.
Yeah.